Alright, here we are for our second part of the tutorial. I think I've got my camera squared up now, so you should be able to see the entire screen. Sorry about that. So we're going to open up SimPE. Okay, now that it's finally opened, we're going to go to File, Open, not new, because we've already created our second hack file. So here it is right here. I'm going to go ahead, double click on it, and it pulls it up. And we should have everything that we did earlier should already still be on here, because we saved it and we pressed commit all those times. So our next step is going to be that we're going to go on Pie Menu Strings. We were on here earlier, but now we're actually going to be doing something. Where it says set flags in the second box, I'm talking about this box right here, okay? We're going to change what it says. This is actually going to be the command. You're going to be typing in the command that you're going to see when you're in the Sims game, you know, where you click on an object and it pops up and it's like start pose and all that. This right here is where you tell it, you basically give it the instructions. You plug them in right here. So the instructions for mine, I'm going to call it stand, pose, and then no spaces between pose, and you're going to want 3 period marks, so 3 dots, no space. You have a slash mark, now 1 space between. This basically tells it to separate the two. And then you're going to type in start. Now technically you could have anything at, you know, the beginning or the end of it, I suppose. You could plug in, instead for stand pose, you could plug in, for instance, jump animation, and then 3 periods, the slash, 1 space, and then start. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to put down stand pose. But just know in the future that you can customize that portion of the command to whatever you want. Alright, so now that you've done that, you're going to click add. It's over here at the bottom left. You should be able to see that. Yeah. Click it. Now you've cloned it. This is good because now you don't have to retype in the whole stand pose part. You can just type in stop. So you type in stop where start used to be, and now you're going to hit commit file over here on the right. This saves it. Our next step will be to go on to behavior function up under the resource tree. So select that. Then we're going to go to function init. Remember how we deleted all those earlier? Yes, and leaving only function main, function init. You're going to want to clone it. So we're going to clone function init. And now you have a cloned italicized one. You're going to go on to resource information down here at the bottom. Then you're going to go to instance, and you're going to change that last number here where it usually says 0x00001000. That very last digit is going to be changed to 2. This differentiates it from the first function main and function init. Otherwise you would have just, the game would get confused, and what it would see is instead of 2 different function inits, it would just see 1. So your command wouldn't go through properly. This right here is putting it in a list, an order, for it to differentiate. Then we're going to press commit. I'm going to go to the plugin view, and you're going to rename your file name over here where it says file name. You're going to change function to start. Then you're going to change init to describe whatever this box is. I'm just going to call it a stand pose. Then go ahead and hit commit file. This part is probably the most time consuming, so let's race through this, but with accuracy. You don't want to mess up the numbers here. there should be a bunch of little boxes to your right on the plugin view tab. We're going to be plugging in totally different numbers right here. So the first one that we're going to mess with is the opcode. The opcode right here is currently at 0 by 010F. You don't want that. You want instead for it to say 0 by 0002. So you can just type that in there. And then you're going to change all of these little boxes over here to the right. Don't worry, I'm going to pop up the code so that you can copy them down on screen later, because I'm sure this is very small. So for the operands, we're going to go ahead and change everything through here. Once you're finished, it should look like that. See how the opcode has the 02 at the end, and all the operands have been changed. Remember before there were a bunch of F's, so it should look exactly like this when you're finished. Now you're going to click on the second bar down so that it turns blue. Then, once you have it selected, we're going to go ahead and change the opcode and the operands just like we did on the first bar. So I'll go ahead and give you the code. Should look like this now. Now you're going to click Commit File. You're going to go ahead and clone your Start Stand pose above, the one you just created. So right click, clone, go ahead and click on that. And the first thing you're going to do is on the clone you're going to go to Resource Information. You're going to change your instance to 0 by 00001003. So, delete the 2, bring the 3, and then click Commit. You're going to go to Plugin View, and the first thing you're going to do is delete your first bar actually. So with this selected, make sure it's blue so that you are assured that it's actually selected. Once it's in the blue, you're going to delete your first bar with the delete button all the way down there, and it disappears. Hey! So now that it's gone, you're going to copy info into the second bar's file name box. You're going to rename it Stop instead of Start, but you're not going to change the stand pose part of it. You're going to keep that part. Go ahead and click Commit File over here. You're going to go back and click on your Start Stand Pose. You're going to click on your second bar. Then you're going to click on a tool icon next to the last operand. You're going to go to Priority. You have to make sure it is on high. If it is not, change it, press OK, you're done. Oh, and if it was not originally on high, you're going to need to press Commit File, but my SimPE already has it on high, so I can't press Commit File again because it was already there. So the next step is to go to Pie Menu Functions and then Reaction Test Interaction Table. Once we're there, we're going to search in the PyString ID for your Start Stand Pose, right? And then you're going to go ahead and change your Guardian BHAV to 0 by 0000. So it's just got little lines there. Then for the Action BHAV, you're going to find your Start Stand Pose. So there will be a list that pops up here. Find your start one. Press OK. It'll change it. And then you're going to So when all is said and done, you should only have visitor, children, adults, elders, teen, and the third box down, or the second question mark, with a check in the box. So all in all, you should only have 6 boxes checked. If you have more than that, you're not supposed to. Only these. This determines who's allowed to play the animation. Obviously you don't want things like kittens or old dogs trying to do the animation. So we keep it to humans. And yeah. So once you've checked off those boxes, you're going to click Commit File to save those changes. And then in order to clone it, you're going to press the button Add over here to the left, right there. Press Add and it clones it. Now what we have to change, you won't have to change these again because of course it clones it, but we're going to need to change the values for the different boxes up here. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to PyString ID and choose stop, because you want this to be your stop box here, right? It's different from the start one. And then you're going to go to the action BHAV, and this is gonna take a second, and choose from there your stop stand pose. Click OK. You won't have to change your Guardian BHAV, leave it at 0. So that's just got the lines there, that's what you need. From there you can press Commit File to save your changes. Then you're going to go to Catalog Description in your resource tree. Click under Resource List to select it. Then you're going to edit these 2 strings. Okay, so here's how you do it. The first one, this box right up here, you don't edit. You edit the second box that has string to the side. Now you see that there are these 2 lines on the bottom. The first line is going to be the text in game that tells you the title. The second line will be the description text that you will see when you select it. For instance, you pick out a chair, and so this first string, you would name the chair fancy chair, and then when you do the second string, you're going to put in a description like the most fancy chair that's ever been made. So you're basically going to do the same thing for your box. So I'm going to just be quick and just call this stand pose box. Spaces are permitted here. And then for the description, I'm just going to put down, this is a test box. Then you can click Commit File over to the right. Saves your changes. Then you go to Texture Images, Texture Image, in your resource tree, and then go to Resource List. Click on this up here. And this is actually the last few steps, so hooray! You're going to click on the last one on the list of different dimensions, right? And then you're going to click Add. Then you're going to select the one that's appeared on the bottom and select Build. You're going to type in the dimensions 128 by 128, say OK. Take the 128 by 128 dimension line, select it, click Add to clone it. Click on the cloned one, the one that's going to say 512 by 256. You want to edit those. Click Build. The next dimensions will be 256 by 256. Press OK. And then you're going to click on the last line that you just did that said 256 by 256. And then you're going to click import. From there, you can go through your different files and folders in order to find the one you want. And I'll just choose a random 256 by 256 PNG image I have. You can simply create these in, for instance, Windows Paint. It need not be fancy, especially if this is just your first try, so don't go all out in Photoshop or anything. So I select it, pops up, lovely picture, isn't it? And you right click on the image here, and then you go to update all sizes. Click on it. And to confirm that it actually did that, I just click on every line of text to the left. And as it progressively gets smaller, you can see it keeps the same image. So that means when I right-clicked and went update all images, it worked. So that's good. And now we hit commit for the very last time. You say OK. You go to File, Save. This is important. You do not want to X out without, saving. That would be a real bad thing. And then you're finished. It's easy as that. So, basically, from there you can just close out and run your game. But first, before you run your game, you need to make sure you actually have the PoseBox files in your game folder. You can't leave them in your documents. It won't read it, obviously. This is like any CC that you put in your game. So for instance, I saved all my stuff in documents so that I don't clutter up my EA Games folder because it's harder to go through all those files. So I'm going to need to select my name hack and my name import files. You do not need your base Milkshape file that you created in the very beginning, which is going to be a .5an file. You don't need that in the game. What you need is your import package for SimPE and the final one that we just worked on from SimPE. So go ahead and select both of them and cut them. Go through your files for the Sims. As you're going through, you'll find downloads. You can see I have a lot of subfolders. I have a special one that I throw my animations in. Click paste, and now they should show up in game. So you can see I now have my name hack and my name import in my The Sims 2 downloads folder. Without this, obviously the box won't show up, so make sure that you do that before you start the game. Now here we have our test sim. He was very quick actually. They pre-made him for me. His name is Lovely Larry, and he's going to demonstrate our pose box that we just created. Larry, why did you just teleport? Don't mind Larry. Anyway, so we can see that the catalog here, if you're just going to sort by function, you can go into hobbies and then miscellaneous. You can see the crap load of boxes I've got here, but I find mine, and you can tell that from the description. It says exactly what I typed in, stand pose box, and this is a test box in the description, so you know those worked, at least. The image showed up, great image, and now we can test out and see if the box actually works. So Larry, quit hopscotching or whatever. Okay. So we have stand pose, start, and a stop. That's good. So Larry, demonstrate. Good boy. And there we have it. Larry is stuck in a pose for eternity. Larry can move around a little bit, but that's just how poses work. All of them. Everyone's poses. Larry, quit teleporting stuff. And if you turn off free will, and you turn off headlines, and you use max motives and all that stuff, you can create some really interesting movies by creating your own poses. Especially if you turn off all this junk. Stop it, Larry. But that demonstrates how to properly make a working pose box for The Sims. There are ways to create overlays so that, for instance, Larry could walk around with his arm just sticking out in front of him if he wanted to. But this right here is the most basic form of posing for The Sims, where he's locked into position and he can't really go anywhere. And though if you have free will on, he will try to do stuff like bird watch or walk or use the bathroom. He won't go anywhere. We won't be able to see him go anywhere. So that concludes our super long and not really all that difficult tutorial. Please leave me any comments or responses. If you have issues, I am willing to help 100%. Just cut me some slack if I'm a little bit slow, because I have a life outside of this, obviously. So, good luck to you.